Hello Aries, and welcome to your monthly video horoscope for the month of December. Season's greetings to you, wishing you a merry season, regardless of what your philosophy about the season is. I know that there are many holidays that coincide this time of year, so just wishing you a happy season and a happy new year as we head into the new year in another month or so. Wow, how this one's gone by so quickly, huh? Some powerful astrology on store for you this month, Aries. Since about 2011, Uranus, the planet of radical revolutionary change, the random, the unexpected, has been forming an angle off and on with Pluto, the planet of those deep, dark places, power, vulnerability, those things that we're afraid of facing, but ultimately which, when we face, bestow us with the greatest power. These two planets have been forming a tense angle known as a square with each other, off and on since 2011. This month, they make another exact angle. That's powerful. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And there will be another angle between those two planets in March before they move on from their tense alignment for quite a long time. Very powerful times in the world and very powerful times for you as an Aries. So let's talk about your astrology. We all make sacrifices in our lives. And in making those sacrifices, we have to determine the things that are most important to us. It's likely that especially over the course of the last several years and coming to a climax probably right about now, that you've been making far too many sacrifices. But let's take a look at that word sacrifice. It means to make something sacred. And could it actually be that out of an attempt to try to honor something which on one level at some point in your life you felt was very sacred, you have lost touch with the things that are actually most sacred to you? And that you've just been making sacrifices because you feel that something is your responsibility, it's your burden to shoulder, when ultimately it's not just your burden to shoulder, and it may not even be your burden at all. And I imagine over the course of the last couple of months, you've been taking a pretty deep look at things. Is that the case? Let's talk about the astrology that happens this month. I'm not going to go into detail about every single aspect that happens because it's such a moving month. We're going to touch on the most important ones. Starting with the full moon around the 6th. The full moon will be in Gemini and in the nakshatra of Mrigashira. Something that you've been dissatisfied with for quite a long period of time, and you're looking for a greater level of fulfillment from your life. And you've been trying to put your effort into this area, but this is the month where the effort actually finally begins to move mountains. And why is that the case? Because you've got this powerful alignment between Uranus and Pluto going on. Let's talk about that. That becomes exact on the 15th, but really you're feeling it right now because these planets just kind of inch along in the zodiac, right? So they've been close to each other for quite some time, but they reach their climax this month. And coinciding within a few days, you've got Venus also forming a conjunction with Pluto and a tense alignment with Uranus, the same alignment that Pluto is. So really, you've got Uranus squaring Pluto and you've got Venus conjuncting Pluto and squaring Uranus. So Venus will kind of kick all of this energy off. Pluto is in Purva Ashadha and Uranus is in Revati. So what is this about? Likely one area of your life has been in a state of limbo. You've kind of been in a wait and see mode, or where is this going to head? And you've been waiting for the, lack of a better way to put it, the marching orders of where this is going to go. And this month could kick it all off in grand Plutonian fashion. Values. When we're talking about Venus, on one level we're talking about values, and especially as we're talking about Venus transiting Capricorn. The 10th house, that's the area of your chart that's directly overhead at the time of your birth. We're talking sun sign astrology here, so it wouldn't quite relate to that. But hey, while I'm on that topic, please make sure to listen to these horoscopes for both your rising sign and your sun sign. I wanted to make a point of that this month, and there, I've made the point a little late into the video, okay? So it's not that your sun sign one won't be valid, but it's also good to listen to your rising sign. So listen to both your sun sign and your rising sign. Okay? If you don't know your rising sign, there's a chart calculator on my site. You can calculate your chart and figure out where your rising sign is from your time of birth. Okay, you can find that on my website. Back to the case at point. Uranus squaring Pluto and Venus conjuncting Pluto and squaring Uranus. The things that are most sacred to you are coming back to the surface. Not that they have ever been hidden from you. You've known them, you've felt them, but you've kind of buried them. You've repressed them. You've put them on the back burner. And they don't want to be put on the back burner anymore. They want to be simmering and coming to a full boil and cooking so that you can eat them and gobble them all up, right? Okay, maybe I'm getting a little carried away. Let's talk about Purva Ashadha briefly. Purva Ashadha peels away at the layers of the ego, right? It makes us face some very difficult things in the process of that happening. During the period that this is going on, you're likely going to find yourself kind of holding yourself to blame for the past mistakes of going, why have I been ignoring this? Why have I not been paying attention to this? You know what? That's all part of the process, but don't take it too personally. What's more important is that you're going to come to a space where you're going to decide, this is real to me. This is valid. This is what I feel. Here's where I am really at with this, whether somebody else likes it or not. And now I'm both going to walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm not just going to talk the talk, I'm going to walk the walk too. And so you begin to take steps to do that. The moment you do that, that's the moment that you break out of this period of being in a space of stasis. I like to use the term suspended animation, right? You're moving, but you're not really getting anywhere, but you're wanting to get somewhere, right? Okay, so this aspect is going to set all that off. Around the solstice. The solstice is when the sun reaches its darkest period. So you're going in, there's some symbolism here. You're going into this vulnerability, these places that you've been hiding from yourself, and you're rediscovering the light. It's a good season to rediscover what's most important to you. And a few days right before the Christmas holidays, regardless of if you're pagan, if you're Christian, if you're Jewish and you're celebrating Hanukkah, on one level or another, this is an important time of year for all of us, okay, in terms of the season, right? But it's a good way to celebrate the season. In addition to that, you've got Mars. Mars is going to be in Dhanishta after it moves into Aquarius, right? Mars rules Dhanishta. We're going to talk a little bit about Dhanishta, right? But we know about Uranus. Uranus in Revati is that space of limbo. Mars in Dhanishta. Dhanishta people like to march to the beat of their own drum. And when Mars rules Dhanishta, it's very much about putting your money where your mouth is and going, this is who I am. This is where I am. Like me, love me, it doesn't really matter to me. At least I love myself, and I'm going to live my life from that space. I'm going to live a life of originality, a life of what's sacred to me. And why is this aspect so important? Mars sextiling Uranus. Uranus is in Aries, right? In addition to that, Mars is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. These planets are in a state of what's called mutual exchange. It empowers both of them, makes this aspect much more powerful, makes it much more potent. Okay. At the same time that this is happening, Uranus is stationing. It's been retrograde for the last several months. It's stationing and now getting ready to move back to forward motion, or what we call direct. When Uranus is retrograde, we're going through all those internal changes. And when Uranus is direct, we begin to take that internal process that we've been going through, and we begin to put the things that we've learned into action and create the radical changes in our life that break us out of that period of limbo, right? Everything isn't really going to be complete within this area for a good while to come until Uranus changes lunar mansions a bit into the future. I think it's later on this year. I'd have to get back to you on that. You can send me an email if you're interested. Uranus stationing direct. This is the movement. This is the breakthrough. This is when you begin to put your life into motion based upon who you are, what you are, trusting in your values, putting more energy towards your worth, the things that are more sacred to you. Doesn't mean that you can't still honor those things which are sacred to other people, because that might still be sacred to you. Doesn't mean you can't still make sacrifices, because maybe those sacrifices are sacred to you. What's most important to your astrology this month, is that you honor yourself, that you don't repress those things which have long needed your attention, right? There's a new moon about the 22nd. At the same time, a day before, rather, the new moon is the day before Saturn enters Sagittarius. Saturn changes signs every couple of years. So when it enters Sagittarius, it's entering your house of values, opportunities. You'll begin to make some opportunities crystallize. Saturn's the planet of crystallization. It gives form to things. But one of the things that's most important for this is a life of values, but being cautious about getting wrapped up in a life of dogma. Dogma and dharma, two very different things. Dogma can be related to our belief systems, but belief systems that we hold on to without allowing any room for change. Dharma is ever evolving. It's always changing. We're always learning. That's the path of dharma. So balancing dogma versus dharma, paying special attention to your life, where you are right now at this stage of your journey, and setting the changes in motion based upon that. If you want to use the analogy, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Well, this month is the first month of the rest of your life. So a wonderful present for you this special season, and I do hope that you make the best use of it. That's going to do it for your monthly horoscope for the month of December, Aries. I do want to point out to you that while these video horoscopes are exceptionally helpful in terms of giving you some very valid information, getting a personal consultation by an astrologer is much more powerful. And I do offer special consultations, interactive one-to-one consultations that are available through my website, in addition to video reports if you prefer that approach, or perhaps a written report, all available through the Astrological Services page on my website. In addition, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page yet, you might consider doing so. You'll receive regular updates every time there's a new video posted to my YouTube page, and you'll be able to come and watch it. I do new moon, full moon videos, of course, your monthly video horoscopes, and whatever else I can fit in over the course of the month. That's going to do it for your monthly video horoscope for this month, Aries. Until next month, please do take very good care of yourself and have a happy season.